Hello, you lovely people. Coming to you live. We're on build day 2. Today's going to be a little bit more, again, constructional, getting the lay of the land, and just showing you guys what I now have picked up since you last seen me. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mike, and I am currently and actively building out my 2013 Toyota Tacoma into being an off-grid camper, so that it is a little bit more sustainable than just a regular camper, and still a pickup camper. So it's nothing special. I can do my hands. I can take my hands, Binesh. My elbows? I feel like that's a crime. I'm skating down the streets of Paris. They don't let me outside, y'all. I feel like every now and then I get reminders that I'm built like a toad. I want to show you guys something. Fresh new addition. Probably already seen it. This is now my roof rack laying out on the ground. This is one long foot. I believe that is a 12-foot piece of uni strut. Mount the uni strut to the roof. Do that. It's going to be pretty simple to do. Drill some holes, some pilot holes. Cinch it down. Put a little silicone around the base so that it gets nice and snug and watertight. And then you're good like that. But today, as you can see, the sun's already going down. Daylight savings is great. I got off work 30 minutes ago and drove over here so that I could try and do this. But I'm going to see how much we can get done today. I want to show you guys really quick just a bench mock-up of what it would be like to install an AC unit. I won't be able to install an AC unit like I was planning to do. So unfortunately, I'll just be showing you guys how to install one. And again, I want to say thank you to ModsPioneers for sending out this 12-volt AC unit. Again, I won't necessarily be able to install it on the cap of my truck like I wanted to originally just because of spacing. And if I wanted to install the rooftop tent, it's not going to work. So again, we'll just show you guys how to do so. And to do so, I mean, I'm going to have a pretty sketchy mock-up, but it's very simple. So I have this one piece of wood here, some 2x4s in the corner, and I'm essentially going to make a little table, slap the AC unit on top, cut out the hole, of course, put it on top, and then show you guys a little bit of a bench test to see how quickly and how easily it can cool down a space. I'm here in my storage unit, so I'm going to be using it in my storage unit as a little bit of a cooler because in this state of Texas, it gets warm. That's a lot of talking. Let's do more doing. All right, so as you can see, our surroundings have changed just a tiny little bit. Got extremely dark outside, and then I noticed also that the roof rack was a little bit off in terms of alignment, so I was like, I probably won't be able to mount this thing today. But what I wanted to continue with doing was making this mock template so that I can mount the AC unit to this mock template so that I can show you guys how easy it is to set up. And so we're now in the middle of my storage unit, my little workshop, and I have the panel that I'm going to be using. This is a 24x24 panel block. You're of course going to be on a different type of surface, so if you're on a van's roof, a truck roof, a tractor, a bus, whatever roof, it's going to be a lot larger than this more than likely. But I'm going to show you how easy it is just to do with just this 24x24 piece block. I have these what are these, 2x4? I don't remember what the dimensions of them are, but these bad boys here, this is a 2x8, I believe. Yes, because I was going to cut it exactly in half and essentially make like a little bench out of this and use it to cool my shop down, as it is pretty warm. It's starting to cool down here in Texas, but still overall everyone knows Texas to be hot, and if I'm using this little workshop for a little bit of time, I'm going to need some cooling. And yeah, so why not show you guys how I'm going to do this. So for the ModsPioneer 12-volt AC unit, it essentially mounts to your roof using a 14x14 inch opening. So that is essentially what I've cut here. And then it just has some holes all around the perimeter. I'm going to measure those out right now to see exactly where those would be at, because you need to install some screws on the other side. I've showed you guys that before. And so let me walk over and show you exactly what I mean. So this is just the roof gasket that you would put to help keep it sealed. Some wiring, and here this face plate is. Let me take this off. Okay. So as you can see, there are these little holes, right? So off to the corner a little bit, but these little holes, and they're off at an angle. And all you essentially need to do is measure exactly where those little holes are from the AC unit and the angle that they're at. It'd be better if you had a protractor. I don't have a protractor. But what I'm just going to do is put the screws in, color the bottom of the screws, and then set the AC unit in place once I cut this hole out. So I'm going to grab the jigsaw in a second and essentially make my first cut. But this is my little setup. Let me show you guys how we're doing this. I have it mounted. I have the block mounted to my table, a light hanging, roof gasket. I don't have a straight edge, so I have a piece of uni strut as my straight edge, which I'm going to slap down on the board so I can trace out a straight edge, hence the name straight edge. But this is essentially how rough my beginning was when I was building out my van. I had less than this when I was building out my van, and it's really pretty humbling that here I am 2 years later, just about doing the same thing in a different location. Again, I'm not in my own house. I'm in a different location, like I said, and I'm doing something just as courageous. Not a lot of people would think to, hey, I have this vehicle, I want to try camping living out of it. Now, I don't necessarily plan to go entirely into living out of my truck like I've done with my van, but I would absolutely love to take long trips in my truck, longer than a day or two. So let me connect all these little dots. I'm going to do a little bit of over because that's completely fine with me. But yeah, man, this is as grassroots as it gets. You guys are here along for the beginning of it all. But this is as grassroots as it gets, man. I'm here by myself in my storage unit at night. Soon to be cutting some wood. I have this table that I got for free off of Facebook Marketplace. This marker that I found in my truck. I'm pretty sure it's from my mom's fiance. And literally this board is held up by a piece of wood that I have underneath it, standing on top of a Blue Eddy. So if you need any more inspiration to being able to do something like this yourself, hey, that is completely up to you. But I'm just showing you that you don't need to be a genius, you don't need to be rich, you don't need to have everything figured out. There is a will, there is a way. And there goes that piece of wood. So now I'm just going to hold it up on my leg. Excuse me, Mr. Jigsaw. And trying to get these as straight as possible. If there's any overage, it's fine. I'm just going to cut it in certain directions a little bit more. There's a little bit more this direction than there is this direction. But we still should be more than fine. Because as long as the AC unit sits flush in here, we're going to be fine. I'm going to cut on the outsides of these lines, but that should be good there. It's just about that simple. It would be this exact same thing if you're on the roof of your vehicle. You literally just trace from certain body lines, measure out exactly where you'd want it to be on the roof of your vehicle, and then trace out your opening. Is it 14 by 14 or 14 and a quarter opening? Trace it out, make sure underneath that you have something to catch all the cuttings, the shavings, whatever it may be. And then measure it once, twice, 3 times, or you're out. Once, twice, measure thrice, cut once. So since this is pretty low risk, I can measure once and cut as many times as I would like. My trusty drill. Don't mind this brush, I was cleaning a bike. As you can see, there's one less bike in here, as I have sold my other one. Sold it so I could buy parts for my truck. The duality of man. Alright, so I'm just going to start this pilot hole right. It's almost like who gave him power tools in such an enclosed space. All right, so a few minutes have passed, more than a few minutes have passed, and now we essentially have our templates ready to go. So these are going to be the legs. These are going to be the legs to our little table, and that is our 14 by 14 inch opening where essentially the AC unit is going to sit on top of. So all I need to do right now is just put it all together. And I'm really, again, doing this to show you guys that, hey, if you don't have a massive workshop with all the tools in hand, it would help to have some quality tools at hand. But if you don't, here I am in my storage unit. This is a 10 by 10 unit. I'm renting it out. It's maybe $100 a month, and I don't necessarily need to have the most expensive things. Now, of course, a little expertise helps. That's where YouTube videos, maybe like this one, and other videos come in handy. But if you don't have all the tools, and a big workshop and all the things like that, of course there are spaces where you can go and get help. But for my go-getters, my DIYers, again, essentially what you're going to need is you're going to need power tool. So you're going to need a drill. Myself, this is a Ryobi drill, and it has a drill bit inside of it because I had to drill a pilot hole. You're going to need some type of sealant to keep the water out from your roof. So the ModsPioneer AC unit comes with a little gasket that they say to put underneath the AC unit when you're mounting it to the roof of your vehicle. I like to double up. I like to use either butyl tape, which I have right here. I like to use butyl tape and some lap sealant. So I like to use the Dicor lap sealant. There's a little ball dude on there, looks like Mr. Clean. That's my bread and butter. The pair of those two and the gasket, there's no water coming in. And that's been my bread and butter, and that's what I've been using for anything that I put on my roof. I have not had any roof leaks from holes that I've cut. I've had roof leaks from where I mounted my solar panels, only because I mounted them in the rain channels, and those holes that are in the roof, if they're not sealed entirely. And at one point, if you've seen the video way back when, I did not seal it entirely because I was doing it just as a little bit of a mock-up job and forgot about it. But again, what you're going to need is a drill, lap sealant, butyl tape if you would like to, the pair of the two. You're going to, of course, need your AC unit. You're more than likely going to need a ladder to get onto your roof, a pen or a marker so that you can trace things out, a little bit of measuring tape, and of course it helps to have something to draw a straight line. So if you can get a T-square so that you can get a quick 90-degree angle. Other than that, I'm trying to think what else you would need. Of course, hardware so that you can mount it. That comes with the ModsPioneer AC, an AC unit. And other than that, I'm drawing a blank on just about anything else that you would need. I think you'd be set right there. But for right now, let's keep going. Let's keep chugging away at this quick little demo install. And excuse me if I'm sniffling. I just got some of those wood shavings in my nose, and I have allergies. So excuse the little sniffle. This isn't winning structure of the year, but it's going to do exactly what I needed to do. Now, would I trust my life under this? No. But it's okay. I don't need to. Oh, this is good enough. All right. So we have our crack platform that we're going to use to mount our air conditioning unit. And so now I got to do the work of picking up this AC unit, putting it on top of this, and tracing things out. Like I mentioned, this thing is pretty large. Get on the cable with me. You guys let me know how we're lined up. I would recommend dropping the power cord and cabling through the opening of your hole. Your roof won't be moving, so this will be a lot easier to do. There we go. Oh, so you guys took quite the tumble, but it's okay. I got you. So as you can see, the unit is mounted here just like this, right? So now imagine this is your roof, and underneath your roof, the unit sticks out a good, I would give it 5 or 6-ish inches from the opening. And underneath here, as you can see, we have our face plate, our front panel where the control panel sits. So control panel sits right here. And as I mentioned, there are those holes. There's 2, 2, 2, and 2, 4, essentially needing to pull it down into your roof. I don't necessarily need to do that with this installation because it is sitting on top of this platform, but to do so, like I mentioned, what I would do personally is I would just, if you're able to, if you're handy enough to do so, if you don't have a protractor or anything like that, I would mount the unit. So I'd pick up the unit, screw in those bits, put maybe something like paint or a marker that you know runs, scribble on the bottom of every single one of those bolt heads, and then put it into place. Once it reaches those screw bolts, it'll push down onto your roof, lift it right back off, and then you have exactly where those holes are marked off. Or you can use a protractor because they're angled off of the AC unit at a specific pitch. But for what we have here, this will work exactly for the use case that we need it to work. So all that we're gonna do is pull the plastic off of the baby. Now it's a little bit sketch because these legs are so wiggly. I'm going to use this down the line to keep this little unit cooled, so I can even close the door if I want to and keep it cool in here for myself. And so I'm going to reinforce these legs with little cross beams, because right now it's like being this big, super swole, super strong soldier and some tiny twig legs because you didn't work out legs. So I'm just going to grab a battery. I believe I have a 100 amp hour battery in here. Amp hour battery from Golden Mate. If you yourself are interested in one of these batteries, I can leave a link down in the description. If not, doesn't bother me. Alright, so since there is an inline fuse already ran to this AC unit, I'm not necessarily going to worry too much about... Steady yourself, my brother. You moving like a deer with fresh legs. I'm not necessarily going to worry about running an inline unit. There it is right there. I'm not going to be running this as a super duper heavy load, but let me go ahead and hook it up here now. Tighten that bad boy all down. All right, there we go. Now, of course, if you're going to be wiring this up in your van, your truck, your bus, your car, whatever it is, running the power might not essentially be that simple. You might need to run it through some corrugation. You might need to run it through some piping. You might even literally need to run it through a wall, some insulation, the floor, up through some metal, Lord knows. But for me, it's just that simple for the basis of this test. I am now gonna bring you guys down under to where it's gonna get nice and cool. Scoot over, partner. If you're wondering where the van's at, it's parked up safely. Friend let me use their neighborhood spot, and so I have the van over there, and I took my truck on over. And again, I am just a normal, regular person. I work a 9-to-5 job. It's not late at all. It's 6 o'clock. The sun went down maybe 30-40 minutes ago. Thank you, daylight savings time. Thank you. But let's get back to this bad boy here. So being under here is maybe 10 times as sketchy as it was being outside, but as long as I've got God with me, we're good, baby. Let me get these legs spaced out a little bit better. All right, perfect. All right, so right now the temperature reads 73 degrees Fahrenheit. We're sitting legitimately directly underneath the AC unit, and so this is of course going to be the coolest point. So let me turn it on. There we have on at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It has not started blowing yet. Here. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Fan is at one of its higher settings. Okay, it's making noises. 65 now. That's nice. I mean 75. This is 75 degrees underneath here. Oh, that's nice. And with the remote, you can adjust the fan setting. You can be in eco mode. You can be in full turbo. So right now we're not in turbo, we're in the strongest mode. I'm gonna put it into eco just so I can get a taste of how much power this pulls. The 12 volt AC unit with inverter technology is gonna pull significantly less power than your conventional 120 volt AC unit. And so with sitting underneath it right now, I'm gonna be checking the GoldenMate app so that I can see exactly how much power this thing is pulling and basically report back to you guys. All right, so a little bit of time has passed. I have since closed up the unit and we're really just in here chilling, literally chilling. Look how cold it got in here. And this is with the little temperature gauge literally directly underneath the air conditioning unit. But it got this cold in here super duper fast. I maybe have had this thing running for about 10 minutes and it's already down to 66 degrees, literally sitting right underneath it. Of course, that is the coldest point, but it's running on high right now and it's at 66 degrees directly beneath it. And of course, as you know, heat rises, cool air falls. So of course, if you're mounting this to your roof and you have, and you're directly underneath your air conditioning unit, you're gonna feel the most cool air. And of course, just with the air being able to spread and go into different directions, you're gonna be just fine. But as you can hear in the background, the unit's not that loud. It's really not that loud. And don't get me wrong, I've seen a good couple of these in my day, but this air conditioning unit is pretty sleek. Now in terms of how much footprint it takes up, it's about 37 inches, so about 3 feet and an inch in terms of width. And then I guess you say length times width, however you want to look at it, it's about 2 feet in the, so 3 feet this way, 2 feet this way, however you want to take that. And again, I would do a type of test like this when it was super duper warm, and this would be a perfect time to test it in this storage unit because it gets pretty hot in here. But as we're getting into the cooler temps, this is another way that I can show you all how great one of these 12 volt inverter ACs are. And again, I'm running this off of a 100 amp hour battery. It's been running for 10, maybe 15 minutes now, and the battery went from 95% to 91% in those 10 minutes. And at the highest I've seen it, and I believe I have it on its highest setting, pushing out as much cold air as possible, it's at about 300 watts. I have not seen it jump higher than that. And it's possibly because I started the test while it was at 75 degrees Fahrenheit inside of the storage unit, and it only had to go down to 68, so it's about 7 degree difference. And now it's just kind of blowing as a, it's still blowing cold. It is still blowing cold. That baby is still pumping. But all said and done, I want to say again, thank you to ModsPioneers for sending out this 12 volt AC unit. This bad boy is a powerhouse. If you yourself are interested in one of these, I'll leave a link down in the description for more information. They give you guys a sweet discount code, as well as if you want the manual for instructions of how to install this AC unit to your vehicle, to your specific vehicle. They have more instructions on their website, so I'm going to link their website so that you guys can check out more of their instructions. This is just an all-around bench test to see what the power is taking. I showed you guys a little bit of a screen grab from the GoldenMate battery. I couldn't find the GoldenMate app. They literally tell you the same things. But it's just a little bench test to show you guys how efficient these air conditioners really are. And in maybe 10 minutes, that little temperature gauge that I have was reading 75 degrees down to 66 degrees, and it's been holding a steady 66 degrees. Like, it's still saying 66. And so I'm gonna keep letting it run because why not? Like, let's see. But overall, it's definitely a taste of luxury without the price of luxury. I mean, it's coming in at a really good price point, and then again with the code that ModsPioneers hooked up for you guys, it's definitely even cheaper. And I really like the finish on this thing. It's super duper simple to install. Compared to other AC units, this AC is very efficient and easy to install, honestly. And all said and done, if I was to do it again and install another AC unit, I would strongly consider this AC unit here. It comes in different colors. It comes in a green and a white. I chose white just because I was thinking I was gonna mount it to my my next van, because I was probably gonna get another van, or I was just thinking about white as being a neutral color. I would have chose green also, because green is pretty nice. As a recommended usage, I would recommend, and ModsPioneers as well on their website recommends that you use about 300 amp hours of battery to get a full range of use, so that you're not burning out just your battery just trying to run the AC unit. Because imagine if you're using a 12 volt fridge, you have a max fan, maybe you have a stove, you have lights all through your entire build. All of those things are going to pull power. So on top of that, having an AC unit pulling about 300 watts, if you're only running 100 amp hours, is going to kill your battery pretty fast. So I would recommend definitely having north of 100 amp hours. 300 amp hours is recommended by ModsPioneers, and I would also recommend 300 amp hours. This 100 amp hour battery has been running this thing for about 25, maybe 30 minutes, and it's sitting around 85% right now, and it'll only keep going down because it's on max capacity. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit longer before I pack it up. I'm only able to work on my truck after work because I'm working a 9 to 5, similarly to when I was building out my van. So I hope you guys can bear with me. I'm gonna have to get pretty creative to where I can work on my truck because I don't necessarily have a location that I can work on my truck out of. I can try and find some places. I can use Home Depot parking lots. I can use my storage unit parking lot as much as I possibly can, but I don't want to overstay my welcome anywhere. So I beg that you guys be patient with me. I know some people in their builds, they have these nice and fancy workshops. I'm much more similar to you than you would think. I don't necessarily have all the bells and whistles. I don't have all the riches. This is a $100 storage unit. I bought this bike behind me for about 400 bucks off Facebook Marketplace, and I'm building this entire thing off of a budget, and I'm loving the fact that I'm bringing you guys with me. So if you're enjoying this process, if you yourself are interested in one of these AC units, then feel free to let me know. Drop it into the comments what you're looking forward to for this build, because I myself am looking forward to the rooftop tent. I'm definitely going to be using and abusing that tent because I'm going to be camping anywhere. Because how dope is that? Drive up into the mountains, pop open your tent, you looking off of, like, say a mountain ledge, and all you have is just clouds, this beautiful serene view. I have it in my mind already, and it takes the setup and tear down to a literal mere minutes. You just pop open some clamps. I already bought this rooftop tent. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm spoiling everything, but I want to thank you guys again just for coming along for this journey. Thank you again to ModsPioneers for sponsoring this 12 volt AC unit. This thing is a monster. Honestly, the fact that it's been bumping like this, I expected nothing less, but it is showing out. I need to get it from under here because I don't want to get sick. I'm sitting on concrete. And let me just turn this thing off. The remote's in this bin here. But thank you guys for coming along. I really hope that this was informative. If you yourself are wondering why would you need a AC unit, then possibly this video wasn't necessarily tailored to you. But for those of you who are wondering about what AC unit you should go with, if you should go with a regular conventional 120 volt AC unit, or if you should go with a 12 volt inverter AC unit, I would definitely recommend you go with a 12 volt AC unit, because they're going to be significantly less power draw. You're going to get more bang for your buck, and their overall footprint is smaller. Footprint towards your wallet, footprint towards the roof. They're smaller, they're more versatile and compact. And in terms of the displacement of the energy, you're going to get more out of your power bank and out of your battery bank if you had a 12 volt AC unit compared to if you had the regular conventional 120 volt AC unit, because you're going to be pulling on average 1,000 watts running one of those things. This thing at the most I've seen was 300 watts, and that's just today. So for those who are living out of a vehicle, dwelling out of a vehicle, there are other compact needs, which stay tuned. I have one of those guys coming very soon. I literally actually have a Zero Breeze on my shelf behind me that I used to use out of my van, but I have something else in mind that I want to show you guys, and that's what I'll also be using in my tent camper. So I'm a little bit bummed I wasn't able to mount this on the roof of the van. I keep saying van. I'm a little bit bummed that I wasn't able to mount this on the roof of the truck, but fortunately I have another means to keeping the truck cool. And overall, I'm just excited to do this build and excited to get it rolling. And please, again, as I mentioned, please be patient with me. I'm doing my best trying to fight while working this full-time job. It's pretty tough, wanting to travel, go all these different places, and then balancing somewhat of a social life, YouTube, hanging out with you guys, and doing all these fun little projects. Like, I really enjoyed showing you guys this little crack shack of a project here, but it's just a little bench test, and it was pretty fun. So I'm gonna get out of here now. I still need to work out, shower, and sleep, and I need to eat. Please don't forget to eat. Eat your veggies, drink some water, and stay good, stay faithful, stay blessed. I'll catch you all later.